What are we talking about today, boys?
Welcome to The Boys and I.
There we go.
Welcome back, Brett.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thank you. We're inside now.
We interviewed Brett about his overseas experience just now so that we wouldn't have to do it on the podcast. So maybe we should, so you could talk about it.
That's fine.
Are you going to talk about it on CCTV or?
No, I'm not going to talk about it anywhere, I guess.
Okay.
I was like,
whatever.
I drove up and I was like, oh, we can talk about it on camera. And then as soon as we came in, we started talking about it. And I was like, this is the mistake.
Give us the highlights. Brett was in Shanghai and then
China was too hot and killed all their birds. Australia was just right, except for...
What do you mean killed all their birds?
Like, there are no birds in Shanghai that I saw.
There are no birds in Shanghai. It doesn't have the same...
I can't even imagine that because I've never been to any kind of major city where there aren't millions of pigeons.
Yeah, and why would you? Because it's eerie as fuck. But in Shanghai... There's not even pigeons. There's nothing. It's like, well, they killed like 20,000 for bird flu, but then before that, like Mao had his like campaign of pests where they like killed flies, mosquitoes, rats, and sparrows.
Sparrows!
It's like, and they like bang pots and pans until the sparrows just like drop dead of stress. But then like they broke the ecosystem and they were like, oh, let's just focus on bed bugs instead. You had bed bugs and you were trying to focus on sparrows?
Right.
Big mistake. Anyways, they're all dead.
What did sparrows ever harm?
Sparrows ate the seeds that the crops were planted with. At least this was Mao's theory.
Yeah.
And so they had to kill the mice and
Does
the
he know that that's how
seeds
are spread?
Yeah,
Did somebody explain basic science to
No,
him?
and then the whole thing, there was a famine in China. Like there was like a multi-generational famine after this one of these what was it called? The pest campaign?
Yeah, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
People on Twitter were linking me because I was like, where the fuck are all the birds? And like, some people were like, well, there's pollution and noise, which is true, but also they killed 20,000 birds.
See, now, I was under the impression they were making strides to fix the pollution problem. Like, they were doing a lot of...
Trying.
Am I totally wrong? Is that just like propaganda that's found?
Instead of opening 400 coal plants a month, they're only opening 320 coal plants a month.
Yeah, it's like you not littering when you live in a landfill or something, where it's just like, well, you're trying, you're making strides. There's dead fish floating belly up at the river's edge here, but I mean, like you didn't piss in the river today.
Are there really? Are there like dead fish floating and stuff?
Yeah, when we went to the Bund River, there's like this big communist monument, and it's very beautiful. But then like you lean over the edge, and like there was like this dead, bloated snapping turtle floating next to a giant dead catfish. We were gonna get shirts made of a picture that said "I Dead Turtle Shanghai." We had a whole bunch of like novelty shirts we were gonna make, like "Take it up the bun, I Dead Turtle Shanghai." We had a whole thing going, but next time.
So that sounds like a lot of fun, huh?
It was an experience. It was the most like being on an alien planet where like I think Ty put it well. He's like, I think it's good to be uncomfortable, to be like. Obviously, get out of your comfort zone, but like to be uncomfortable for like 6 days and then be like, oh, I appreciate the little things.
You know what's funny is that like it's still a relatively, I mean, it is not relatively, it is a modern functioning city. Now, it's not our kind of city. Right. To me, I was saying, it felt like being in Blade Runner, but also like a little bit like at the beginning of Fifth Element.
Yeah. Well, and it like
so crowded.
You are acutely aware of your ethnicity, not so much even on like a social level, which like sure, but like on a, I was born in this heat and humidity, and it like okay, it bothers me a little bit, but like I'm doing my daily business versus like flying in and being like, just like our cameraman dripping sweat for 12 hours a day.
Did you say your cameraman's from Florida too?
Yeah. So like our
Christ.
cameraman from Florida was like, it's too humid. And then there are all the international teams, and like the team captain for Thailand was like, it's too sticky here. We can't play Overwatch because the AC isn't working. It's too humid. If someone from Thailand says it's too humid, it's too fucking humid. So yeah, I don't think it was just me being a whiny bitch, like granted.
A little bit you were being a
whiny bitch. Right now, like, oh, sure, fine. But like with reason. It's not like I went to
Would
Florida.
you ever go back to China?
China is like, if you want to go and have weird experiences, like I had a lot of fun little weird one-off experiences like at the bars, or like there's just so many weird personalities, even in like, a city of just so many people, like they're like personalities where you just see someone down the street wearing like a welding mask riding their little pink bicycle, and you're like, what is this lady's deal? Where like there's so many like interesting people and like to photograph, and even other travelers. Like Ty was walking down the street one night and he found there's just like one single black guy walking shirtless, just dripping sweat. And Ty like stopped to take his picture, and the guy was like, "Oh my God, you're from America? Oh my God, good, let's have a conversation." And it just like, you feel weird as like, "Oh, I'm just a white dude," but like imagine being like a tall, gigantic black dude walking around in Shanghai. People are already kind of like, there were so many moments where like, especially the older Chinese would be like weirded out by us, where like we couldn't get a taxi. James tried to get on an elevator, and this old Chinese man started smashing the elevator button to close the door before James got on, and he like kicked his foot into the door and held it open, was like, "Ugh." And then like I was writing it down, and my floor opened on this floor with like 4 old Chinese ladies, and like there was plenty of room. They could have got on, and they just looked at me and they went, and just let the door close again and didn't.
As soon as the door closed, they turned to each other like
terrify them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
and the door opens to Brett just like furiously.
Yeah, I was jerking off.
Jerking
the door,
it.
that was my.
That would have been it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to go and have an adventure, but it's just, it's not a quality of life for me was not, like, oh, chilling with the boys. It was like, oh my God, when do we leave? Cool. 3 more days of experiencing Eastern culture. Anyways.
I wonder if that's how people feel when they come here at all.
I don't feel like Los Angeles, like,
I feel like it's just too homogenous. Like, anywhere you go in America, it's like, oh, there's a Hooters and there's like a Bubba Gump's. You know?
It's the best of American culture, though.
Yeah, sure. You're right.
The
Yeah.
best we had to offer.
Also, what you're saying is that you get the breadth of all 350 million Americans in one place. You get buffalo wings. You get Gulf shrimp. You can get a Taco Bell, delicious Tex-Mex cuisine. You go to a Pizza Hut and get delicious Chicago deep dish pizza all in one strip mall.
Huh? Yeah. I think there were some exaggerations in that description. But
I don't think that that's true,
see
and
what
I was
you're going for.
Does anybody like deep dish pizza?
No.
Does anyone actually like deep dish pizza?
I feel like people from
I do
Chicago,
if you go to Chicago.
Is it really? It
Like
feels like you're eating soup.
Have you had it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I
Like
think
stew, like tomatoes.
I normally wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't go to a deep dish pizza place here in Los Angeles. But if you've ever been to like Uno's or like what's the other one, like Illuminati's or something like that,
Yeah.
it's so fucking good that I can't describe it, but I can remember the taste of it like years later, and that I can say that about maybe 2 or 3 things that exist. Like it was that impactful to me how delicious it was.
You get it here, and it's just like, this is just a bunch of bread. Like, I'm just eating a ton of bread, and then, like, what's the point? Because I don't know if they get it. Someone should FedEx me a box of deep dish Chicago pizza.
That's a great idea.
Overnight it to me. If you care enough about defending the honor of Chicago
But
deep
do it-
dish
Send
do
it to Brett
do it.
Hundley, care of Joel Rubin.
Do it when your pal Jeremy's in town, so he can sneak a slice.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was just like eating like tomato soup in a bread bowl. That's how I felt about it. Like thick cheesy stew in a bread bowl.
Ew.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, it's not me. It's the pizza.
It's a delicious deep dish pizza. To
You been to
describe it
Chicago?
as anything
That's when
other
you had
than
it?
that.
I've been to Chicago once. Now, granted, I might not have gone to. So people from Chicago say don't go to Uno. There's another one that they say to go to.
Nobody from Chicago says that. There's another place where like one of the founders of Uno started a separate place. It's called like something that sounds like Illuminati's. I can't remember. I've been to both. They're both good. It's just like it's like you know how there's that guy that the family that runs Zanku,
Yeah.
and like part of the family wants to run Zanku a certain way and part of the family wants to run Zanku another way. Both Zankus are good. They're just like ever so slightly different.
Did one of the members of the Pizzeria Uno family kill a member of the Pizzeria Uno family?
No, did that happen in the Zanku family?
Yeah, the Zanku murders. Yeah.
What?
Oh my God, you never heard of the Zanku murders?
No.
There's like a whole like fucking Shakespearean family drama of like murder and
God
power.
damn, as if Zanku wasn't fucking killer enough.
It's the best.
It's stellar.
You get delicious food no matter which one you go to. They're a little bit
Shit.
different, but you also get family drama, and choosing which chain to go to aligns you with one of the sides. The way I feel about Zanku, we are totally not talking about what we were supposed to talk about. The way that I feel about Zanku is that I like the clean, modern Zanku. The food's not as authentic. It's a little less dirty. It's a little less, like, it's a little westernized.
Right?
But I will say, like, the service is better. The food is cleaner. and the chicken tarna is just so crispy. Now the other one, the flavors are better. I will admit the flavors are better. They're better spiced. Pita's not as good. The garlic butter oil is not as good, and the chicken's not as crispy. It's like greasier. It is more authentic in that way. Anyway,
look at these cups you were drinking out of. The Scum and Villainy Cantina.
I know.
You've been there?
We did it. Yeah, we went. So
what
do
is
you
the
sound
Scum and
embarrassed
Villainy
by it?
Cantina, Joel?
So Dana and I got tickets, and we went with Kovic and Jess, and Lawrence and Stephanie, and James and Elise. And it was a Star Wars pop-up bar.
Wow.
In Hollywood, and we were all looking forward to it because it seemed like it was going to like they.
What do you mean you got tickets to it? You have to get tickets.
Yeah,
to
you
bar?
had to get tickets to the bar because they were
How
like
much are
doing
tickets.
They were like $70 or $75.
What?
It came with 2 drink tickets. You got a T-shirt.
You paid $70
a
each
piece
for
go to a
tickets to go to a
novelty
bar.
and I would like to say, you
Holy
got
shit.
a challenge coin. I would like to say that it was worth it, but it was so lame. It was not.
$70.
It was only fun because we were there with our friends. You would think that in Los Angeles, where you have access to production services, that it would have been like decked out. The bartenders would have been in costume. There'd be like droids. Sort of
Animatronic Jabba the Hutt is functioning on the dais.
It
The
was
bartenders
so
weren't even
cheap
dressed
and
up?
cheesy. No, it was like
Dude.
one girl was wearing blue makeup. It was so cheap. And
I have
cheesy.
I have like a stormtrooper costume, specifically a desert trooper costume that I'd be happy to wear while making drinks over here for $20.
It was. I mean, it's such a good idea having like a theme pop-up bar for like 3 or 4 months, and they just maybe it was the first one that they did, and they needed to raise money for the next one. I don't know, but it was a flop. It was not fun.
You just don't have to
I have
try.
these pint glasses.
I think
now.
they were just grifting you suckers.
Yeah, they know. They're like, big nerd culture. Here it comes. Give me your $70. That I mean, you're an exception.
I felt grifted.
I
I felt
trusted
grifted.
in what was,
there's no
Listen,
demographic.
sometimes you roll a chance cube and it comes up nil.
I hated that you just did.
You don't get enough Lotto impressions.
There
on,
is no-
The Boys and I.
There is no cultural movement, is that what you call it, that has more disposable income than nerd culture.
You're idiot. We're all idiots. I mean, you participate in nerd culture bullshit.
Not really anymore. I've given up on it. I've come to the realization that it's all, it doesn't jive with my earlier punk rock ethos, which is rather anti-establishment, and I came to the realization that this whole culture exists to sell me products.
So that's why you went to the monastery and sold all of your pop vinyl figurines and.
I actually
You wear
did
robes
like
now?
years ago.
I remember you were posting on eBay.
I started selling all my like Comic-Con action figures on eBay, making a fuck ton of money from them. Thanks, nerds. And also like selling or giving away all the like fucking dozens of art prints that I had, or like pictures of like a wacky Game Boy or whatever the fuck, And I'm like, what? How am I going to explain this like painting of a zombie Steve Urkel that I bought at some fucking
painting.
To
art
your
show
daughter.
to my daughter like 10 or 20 years from now, when I'm now like decades
Honey,
beyond
sit
Family
down.
Matters.
Family Matters was a sitcom in the TGIF Thank Goodness It's Friday lineup on ABC, which ran from the late 1980s to the mid 1990s, and included such luminary hits as Hanging with Mr. Cooper and Step by Step.
Like imagine a character that's like maybe 3 tiers less popular than the Fonz, and like your dad has like a wacky painting of him in your house. You would think that was kind of strange, and it would be like cool and unique if like your dad was the only person that had it. But if he was one of like hundreds of old nerds that had that shit, like in your neighborhood alone, you'd be like, what happened to your culture?
I divested myself of so much shit when I left Machinima. We were sharing an office, and I had just so much crap that I had accumulated. Pop vinyl figurines and limited edition like bullshit and game launch like statuettes and
PAX swag.
yeah, PAX swag. Is that like that's a phrase that you just made me say?
It sounds like a disease.
But it exists. I had the PAX swag.
That's all Loot Crate is they were like, that stuff you throw away instantly when you go to PAX? What if you paid $10 a month for us to mail it to you in a box?
That being said, Loot Crate, if you want to sponsor The Boys and I,
I'll turn my attitude right around.
yes, sir. No, but look, my shelf does not have. It has some nerd stuff on it, but you can't see it. It's
Even
out
when
of
you
frame.
worked at Miss Sherman, you go to your apartment. It's like
It's
maybe
all
there
like
was
Harry
one or
Potter
two
and like
things.
Lord of the Rings and stuff. It's covered in nerd shit.
Yeah, but the only those are books though. The only real bullshit that's on there was handmade for D&D for SourceFed.
You've also got a Skyrim mask.
But that was handmade. It was commissioned for the Labyrinth of Jareth Masquerade.
So he's got a Skyrim mask and some like styrofoam weapons and a bunch of Harry Potter books and a bunch of Lord of the Rings books and stuff and some like art books and shit. But no nerd stuff. None at all whatsoever.
I like
on
that we went at
bookshelf.
that two separate ways. I was about to be like, Joel, you've always had pretty good taste. You've always done a pretty good job. Jeremy, what's this fucking nerd shit on your shelf? You got fucking Skyrim.
Okay, all right. Are we going to talk about what we were supposed to talk about today?
Who
I
cares,
guess.
man? China, fucking South Korea. Yeah, South Korea. North Korea is going to nuke us soon, so just enjoy the conversation. The camera's working this week. You're not looking at Joel's drawings, which are very nice, but like, I mean, maybe the camera stopped working by the time you...
You could still draw a thumbnail or something, I guess.
I won't be doing that. I feel...
I was thinking we should make Joel draw cartoons for all of these episodes. Like a whole bunch of them. And maybe do some lip flap. And we'll just like make exports of like the clips of the lip flap and just... Yeah. And then Joel can also like place them in there when people are talking and stuff. And it will be...
I don't edit. So you'll be doing all of this. Congratulations.
So I'll teach Joel how to do it. It'll be great.
One of the things I was planning on maybe doing while I was unemployed was learning how to edit. And I went to a bunch of websites and I was reading tutorials and I was like, and you and I talked 2 weeks ago about how I need to download the Adobe Creative Suite and just subscribe to it or whatever.
Yeah, man.
And then I realized I don't fucking want to learn how to edit. I have no desire to learn how to edit. There are other things I could be doing with my time that would better me.
That's such a good conclusion to come to. When you're like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no thanks.
No.
It wasn't out of laziness. It really wasn't. It was realizing, like, why would I learn? I mean, the only reason would be so that I could edit these podcasts, but that's what I have Jeremy for.
Huh.
What if Jeremy's rafting?
Yeah. Like, who's gonna edit it next weekend?
Lauren, I hear, has a great production experience.
Lauren actually can edit.
Bingo.
Yeah.
We'll pay her a day rate.
My wife's actually not bad.
I like your wife. She is
Yeah.
not bad. I agree.
You didn't mean...
I mean, in general, but also
in
like
general,
at
she's
editing.
not bad.
Yeah, she's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dana went to film school.
Did she really?
She did.
God, everybody went
UT.
to film school.
She went to film school at UT. I'm sure she knows a ton of, like, Rooster Teeth employees.
It's great that we're all making films now.
Yeah, it really paid off for us.
I've had some ideas percolating that I'm kind of home developing right now, not film stuff.
Oh, you have some ideas percolating.
I got some
Wow.
ideas
Stop
percolating.
the presses, everyone. Joel's got some ideas on the back burner.
Hey, if anybody from Lionsgate is watching.
I need another drink, but I'm out of drinks and it's so far away.
Well,
You want to go get a drink?
Should
Before we
you guys,
start formal conversation?
Yeah, do you wanna-
We can make small talk while you get a refill.
yeah.
Oh, he needs another drink.
Yeah, we all
For once, I drank slow. I thought we were going to get more drinks.
No, we're
I was
doing
like,
it.
I'm sipping, boys.
finish it off. I'll go refresh. You want another some more ice cubes? It's gotta stay nice and cool.
What are we drinking today, Joel?
We're drinking a delicious michelada. Today's michelada is brought to you by Corona, Tapatio, Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of how do you say Worcester sauce? Worcester sauce? Worcestershire sauce?
Worcestershire. I've never been able to
umami
say it.
sauce.
It's
Umami
pretty.
sauce.
It's pretty spicy. It's real
Put
good.
a good amount of Tapatio in there. And ordinarily I wouldn't make it with Corona, but my wife discovered that Corona is effectively gluten-free.
Oh.
And so...
Is it really?
Yeah.
She has the gluten issues?
She gets hives. It's like not like a bullshit LA thing. Like she actually breaks out in hives when she has gluten. So anything like soy sauce or anything like that.
Great.
All right, give me your drink.
That was delightful.
All right, you have that one. I have this one.
All right, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
I'll be back.
Bye, Joel. So you're gone next week, and I'm gone next week again.
Yeah.
And Joel.
I have no production experience.
So
I guess.
you guys want to call Joel on the phone and have a podcast?
Yeah.
Dial into a conference call. That might be fun for him.
Well, I'm here during the week. I'm gone.
Oh.
For the weekend.
So like it can't be edited. What if you guys did
Tuesday.
the live thing you talked about before? You want to try that?
Oh yeah, the boys and I could go live on Facebook. If you guys would like to see that, let us know in the comments below.
I might be.
If you'd rather slam your fingers in a sliding glass door than see us do that, let us know that as well.
Where will we go live from? You have to be like from your Facebook page? Be like, hey, I'm live.
Yeah, I guess we're like,
we don't have a Facebook property,
our personal
right?
Facebook pages.
We can do that though.
I mean, we could
Periscope it!
Ooh,
or
we can
Periscope.
Joel's other only live thing. Cooking with Knives, that's live.
Drinking.
On Periscope.
Threaten.
I like this podcast this week. Just drink beer and burp into the microphone and talk about other things.
That should really be our podcast every week.
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking about topics.
Me too.
I feel kind of the same way about it as I feel about when you remember we were talking about like tweeting the other day, and it's like I don't feel like it's my responsibility to share my interests with people that I don't know. It's like find your own interests. The fuck do you care what I like?
Yeah.
You
Why
know?
even watch this podcast? No, but I feel you. Sometimes it's nice to not go in. Like, I do another podcast every week, and sometimes I get, like, podcast burnout of, like, oh, what are we going to talk about? Versus just being like, let's just shoot the shit, drink some beers, accidentally delete half the footage, call it a day.
Yeah.
You know? It's all in a day's work. It's Saturday right now. We're here on a Saturday morning. Some people will be out at brunch. Daft brunch is happening.
We're kind of doing the same thing that we would do at brunch, though. Is the thing about that.
We've monetized brunch. We brought it. We dragged it out of the.
We were like, what if somebody gave us $40 to have brunch instead of us giving somebody else $40 to have brunch?
Yeah.
Is that
money for this?
no? But hypothetically,
It's a
when
hypothetical.
people start donating to our sweet Patreon,
Oh God. It's all over. What tier rewards are there for our Patreon?
Oh, okay.
Joel takes a picture of a drink and emails it to you and says, "This would have been your drink."
Yeah, Joel's drink recipes is a tier. Original artwork by Joel is a tier.
Top tier is like Joel and Dana cook dinner for you.
Joel and Dana cook dinner for you is a tier. Customized answering machine message by Joel is one.
Spend a day in LA with Joel. That's like a really top tier one.
Borrow Joel's dog.
Ooh, that's
is
good
a
one.
tier.
Yeah, you can like. There's like the pet level, and there's like the straight up like you take Billy home.
Yeah,
take care of her.
you can just have Joel's car if you pay enough to buy his car from him.
Yeah, you sponsor us for a year.
Yeah.
Joel loses his car. Joel, what if you started auctioning off some of this nerd shit, like this Necronomicon you've got sitting here? You got 3 Necronomicons sitting on your desk.
They're full of sketches that are very valuable.
So we can auction off page by page?
Whoa, yeah.
Woo!
Damn.
We're about to make some money on this show for once.
Yeah.
Woo! What else we got? We got some fucking...
He's got a book about cocaine.
What? Where's that?
Right there. It's all white. Imagine that.
Oh, wow. Cocaine. An unauthorized biography. Joel Rubin.
We should go through every single one of Joel's books and see if we can embarrass him.
Okay.
You see anything real good in there?
Yeah,
I don't think it's possible to embarrass Joel.
Yeah, it would take no. I mean, it's like the ultimate fake book. It's pretty like well curated.
Yeah, there's some good stuff there. Joel also doesn't really like kind of hide any aspect of himself, so there's not really any kind of like nasty surprises we could spring on him or anyone else.
There's a Sex and the City book on the shelf that I'm pretty sure.
Is that yours?
Yeah, I'm more of a Miranda.
I don't know.
Oh Jesus.
That's Dana's. You fucking know that. Yeah.
We didn't know. Maybe it was like a study, like you were doing some research for a show. Thank you, Joel.
We didn't mind.
So despite our earlier admonishment of actually having topics.
We do have topics.
Yeah. Do you feel like talking about one of these topics?
Yeah, let's talk about one of these topics.
I think we saw some interesting stuff in the news this last week. One of the things I want to talk about that I thought was interesting was we all read this this article about how Netflix algorithm is basically destroying the arts. And what this proposes is, so this guy's complaining that he basically watches all this hipster bullshit, and he's like, when I go on Netflix, all I see
when you
is
say hipster bullshit, you mean like foreign films,
foreign films and like documentaries and esoteric stuff, right?
When he's not watching Transformers 1 through 3.
Yeah, And so he goes on Netflix. He's like, when I go on Netflix, all I see is the same bullshit everyone else sees on Netflix. It doesn't show me the stuff that I want to watch. And he does make a good point. He says, they know what books I buy. Mm-hmm. They know what movies and television shows I actually watch. Mm-hmm. They basically collect information on every single thing about this guy. And then they're like, what do you think about BoJack Horseman? You know, and he's just not the kind of guy that would watch that. Now, I love BoJack Horseman, but it's not for this dude, right? Yeah. And House of Cards may not even be for this dude.
He said he liked House of Cards.
But a lot of the stuff that Netflix is programming, you know, is not necessarily for him. But Netflix is spending billions of dollars on this stuff, and they care more about you watching their original programming than they care about you watching the stuff that they're licensing. And they've been trying to move away from a licensing model for a long time because it's not a good model. It wasn't a good model for HBO. Wasn't a good model for Showtime. It's not really a good model for anybody. It helps you build scale, and then you have to like deliver original programming at a certain point.
And I think we've seen that with every single OTT platform. That's insider talk for over-the-top platform.
What does that mean?
It means basically it's a platform that delivers videos directly to you, like digital video directly to you.
What is over the top? Deconstruct the term.
It basically it's passing over the cable networks and delivering it to you directly.
I got you.
So on a certain level, though, I kind of agree with this pretentious hipster asshole that wrote the article in question, because if they have all the information about you, I don't think it's like that big of a stretch that they should be able to make recommendations a little bit more easily.
Right. And then Netflix have a lot of information about you?
No, Amazon. He was talking about a little bit more about.
He was
Amazon.
talking about all the different platforms.
But like, what is Netflix?
If you don't think Netflix is purchasing that information about you, you're crazy.
That's
right. Their whole programming model is based on information.
Your browsing history, your search history, that kind of stuff.
But I search for things like Emoji Movie, 0%. So then, like, how do they? You know what I mean? Like, is it an accurate?
I don't think it's that accurate.
Survey of like.
I don't think it's that accurate.
I think about my like searches and things, and I'm like, if they were programming for my searches, I don't know what.
It could be. It could be though. Like, I think there are instances in which it is right. Mm-hmm. And every system is flawed, but let's use Spotify as an example.
Okay.
When I go on Spotify, sometimes I am shocked to the degree that I'm almost alarmed that it will pick like a song that I like from an obscure artist, and it's like it's not even the most popular song. It's like maybe the third most popular song, and I just happen to really like the song, and it comes on in my recommended playlist, and I'm like, how do you know that I like this artist, let alone this song? I've never watched the YouTube video for it. I don't think I've ever searched it. It's like the way that I'm like liking songs, and this is in the absence of being able to dislike a song, which is another thing. It's like if they try to play like MF Doom for me one more time, I'm gonna fucking freak out. MF Doom is not good and makes like fucking thousands of songs, and they're all bad, and he sucks, and I don't want to hear it. Okay.
That's a side note.
If anyone from Spotify is watching, it's driving me fucking crazy.
Well, that's honestly why you need Pandora, because you can dislike songs in Pandora.
Right, you can dislike songs on Pandora, but Pandora's interface sucks, and Pandora doesn't have enough licenses, and Pandora, if you put in any rock band will play you the Beatles. And it's like, there are other things besides the Beatles, for fuck's sake.
Spotify's good at, like, on the back end too, like they started doing this thing where like you'll get emails to like buy tickets with early pre-sale codes if you're like a big fan on Spotify. Like I played Father John Misty so much, they're like, cool, you must want to buy his tickets early, and I was like, yeah,
I think I do.
Thank you.
Yeah,
what a cool idea.
So I think they do a really good job of sort of like understanding your consumption habits and like. I am consistently finding new artists that I like in a way that I haven't since I was younger and I had time to read music blogs all the time and like go to record stores and hang out.
100% agree. I found more new artists on Spotify and maybe just listening to KCRW than I have had years of other stuff.
To tie this back into the article though.
Well,
sorry,
we're going on a tangent.
This author and myself both don't really understand why these video services cannot apply similar algorithms to film and television shows. When there are so many films and television shows, so many more than there's ever been, they have all this content, they have all this information, they have billions of dollars. Why the fuck can't they just like figure out how to have the first few clicks on the home pages be stuff that we might actually be more
So,
likely to consume.
I
understand
want
that
to partially answer your question.
Okay.
But before I do, and hold the thought that I'm going to answer your question of why these music apps can do this and video apps can't.
Wait, and
But
also
before I do
pause
that-
on that. The in summation of the article was like, let's spend more money on like discovery technology than just like continually like just throwing money at like more new content, more new shows. Like find a way to take what's already there, huge libraries, and make it so that like it's actually serving.
How do we get library
Is this
value out of all this stuff
Yes.
instead of having it just be like, that didn't work by, that didn't work by, that didn't work by. It's like
Yes.
you're spending so much money consistently having new stuff
Yeah.
instead of like making any use of any of the thousands of things that came before it.
100%.
So-
okay.
First, I want to tie this into what we know a lot about, or what we make our living doing which is digital media in general.
You make a living?
Well, not currently. I'm working on it. But I think that this is. I mean, we read another article which we'll link in the description about how this is really applicable to YouTube videos as well, and how YouTube similarly doesn't prioritize discovery. What they really want you to do is watch what's popular, which is the same thing Netflix and Amazon want you to watch, which is why you continue to get stuff like recommendations for, hey, you enjoyed this Finnish movie with subtitles, why not try Transparent? Or you enjoyed fucking, Borgen, let's watch Doctor Strange, you know?
Yeah.
YouTube has the same problem where they only surface the most popular stuff, and I can't think of a more perfect example of somebody who should be in the top recommended, like, this is amazing content algorithm, or recommended videos than our good friend, the boys and I, but also our good friend Steven Suptic, who was on the podcast 2 weeks ago, who just finished his first season with Sugar Pine 7. I think his content is so good.
He trends a lot though.
He is now, but like. He is only trending now.
You're saying in his Minecraft days he should have been trending?
No, I'm saying back in January and February when he first started experimenting with the style that he's experimenting with, and it was unlike anything that people had seen on YouTube. And his watch time, his individual person, per capita watch time, I assume, was just as high then as it is now. But that doesn't matter to YouTube. What matters to YouTube is, are people suddenly watching your videos in the first 24 hours, and are they continuing to watch other stuff on YouTube? I mean, which is to me kind of a problem. Like the whole problem of discovery means that if that's the only metric by which you will recommend videos, then weird small people who are trying different things that people might actually like won't get recommended.
I would ask this: what choice do they have?
YouTube?
Yeah, their backs against the wall. Like people are watching Facebook videos 10-1 than they're watching YouTube videos right now because people are hanging out on Facebook, and Facebook serves their videos, their articles, their social, like
it depends
everything. They even have like a shopping app that is like kicking the ass of Craigslist.
It depends on what YouTube wants to do. Now
YouTube wants people to stay on YouTube.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Of course they're going to
Can you
prioritize.
unpack that a little bit so people don't understand like how the current algorithm favors you going to a black hole of just content binging?
YouTube benefits,
much like Netflix.
YouTube, every time you watch a YouTube video that gets service an ad, YouTube gets paid, and theoretically the creator gets paid as well. So it's in YouTube's interest that if you watch a video that encourages you to watch more YouTube videos, YouTube wants more people to watch videos like that encourage more people to watch YouTube videos, because then they'll get more revenue. That makes total sense to me.
The algorithm favors you watching something and then
that.
watching another video. I'm explaining for them. But
Yeah.
Watching another video, not like, hey, I watched this educational Vsauce video and then I clicked off to go to the Wikipedia article and then like go fucking, go do something else. It wants you to chain a whole season.
YouTube has also intimated, at least, that it is interested in developing content, original content that is high quality for the YouTube site that lives on YouTube. And if they're genuinely interested in being a distribution
why do you still believe that? Like, what is it going to take for you to understand that that's not just lip service?
I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm saying that this is something that YouTube has said. And if they're actually interested in that, then they need to promote discoverability of original content.
Of course they're not actually interested in that. Like, they've never been interested in that. That's always been something that they say to try to attract a certain audience. But at the end of the day, 999 out of 1,000 people that sign up for YouTube have no discernible skills, and they're just like, I want to be famous for nothing. And this is what like society has put up on a pedestal as being like a totally valid thing to do.
Right.
The most popular people on every single platform are people that do fucking absolutely nothing. You know, like the fucking Jenner girls and shit, right? They don't fucking do anything, and people are fascinated by them. And there's this myth that like anybody can just like do nothing and become famous and wealthy. And it as long as they see it happening over and over, which YouTube does, like so many people are famous and rich for doing like fuck all. They don't really have any like specific.
Yeah, it's not even a
really
myth. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then like that's what does well, and then the algorithm favors that content.
And I'm not even
people start making more of that content to fit that algorithm. It's like
I'm not even saying it's bad. It's like a whole shadow economy that like economists don't even talk about. Right? There's like millions and hundreds of millions of dollars like flowing in and out of this thing, and you got all these nouveau rich teenagers, you know, making fucking crazy money, spending on absolutely stupid bullshit. They're all driving like hella expensive cars and buying places they can't afford and all this stuff, you know. And when it dries up, they're all going to go bankrupt, and money's going to go back into the banks, back into the economy, you know. But so maybe that part of it is bad, but for the most part, it's like it's creating a lot of jobs, right? And it's giving a lot of people like sort of the inspiration to just like go try something. And maybe occasionally, you know, you get people like Steven who start out making shitty Minecraft videos, and then end up being like actually really talented, you know, and finding their voice.
But
in
maybe
it, so.
maybe this is where the original premise of this talk show can come in, because I, as an optimist, still think that the most valuable thing that a platform can develop, that a brand can develop, is originally owned and operated properties, right? Like YouTube is theoretically, like right now, creators don't really have anywhere else to put up their stuff. Facebook is trying to sort of change that, although I think that the content that survives that does really well on Facebook is different than what does really well on YouTube.
The content that does really well on Facebook is like the worst content of 2007
I know.
on YouTube.
I get it.
And then also like live streams of deaths.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't think that what's popular on YouTube can be popular on Facebook. But what I'm saying is that there's really nowhere else currently for creators to go. So YouTube kind of has them over a barrel in that way. But
I would stop pretending like it's a platform for creators. YouTube is a platform for ego casters.
I don't think
period.
I don't think that necessarily it is a platform for creators. But what I think it should be, in an ideal world, is YouTube would be smart and say, you know what? We're not just a platform. We can be a digital studio and we will own some of these shows. Like these creators have developed on their own. Let me buy those shows from the creators, and then we will contract them to make them in the same way that a production company or an actual studio does.
But do you feel like YouTube Red, like isn't that the idea of like YouTube Red, right? So is that a reflection of those ideals put into practice? Is the kind of garbage that comes out of YouTube Red? It's
a reflection of those ideals put into practice, but the practice is shitty. Like they did it in a really shitty, dumb way. There wasn't enough promotion. You're asking people.
The shows themselves.
You're asking people to pay for some. The shows aren't very good, and you're asking people to pay for stuff that effectively they've gotten for free before. Why would I pay for a PewDiePie show? Why would I pay for a Sark and Vanos and CNNer show where I can get I can get them their unfiltered personalities on a day-to-day basis? That doesn't make it never made any sense to me. And YouTube Red as an idea is flawed at the very beginning.
They mix up the entire process, like. You know, they either don't care what the concept is, just who's in it. That's one way that they go about it.
Yes.
And personally, I've experienced that. Or they take the guys like, you know, Sark and CNNers and Vanos, and they say, oh, I have all these like animators that do like hundreds of millions of views on like fucking every cartoon they make. But instead, they're like, I will not make this unless you attach somebody from Futurama who knows fuck all about YouTube. Right? And then you end up bringing all these people from television. And this also applies to MCNs and shit, by the way they hire executives. You get these people from film and television, you put them in digital, and they make a product that's just weird. It doesn't work for mainstream. It does not work for digital. Yeah. It just exists in this weird limbo where it's pleasing absolutely nobody. Just accept the fact that your platform has certain strengths and weaknesses and play to the strengths and stop trying to like be something that it's not. Like every bigger project that they do is trying to be something that it's not.
And I genuinely don't know what the solution is, and it's not for lack of thinking about it for the last 7 years. Like
I'm going to ask you, as programmers, do you have a solution to fix YouTube Red? What would you have done differently?
I would not have charged money for YouTube Red. I would have charged a premium for advertising because there's quality control. I think that's probably what I would have done, and see how that.
But Joel, it wasn't about the content at all. It was about the subscription service.
I agree that
they were like, let's create another revenue track on subscription, this seems like a way to do it. We
How'd
have
that
lots of
work out?
creators on the platform, and nobody stood up and said like, "Hi, we don't actually have any creators on the platform anymore because all the animators are back on Newgrounds, if you can believe that." And all of the, now this and all these other people are doing their shit on Facebook. And basically this is just a cultural wasteland of people going, hey, look at me. What do you think about me? Hey, when we're done talking about me, do you want to talk shit about Joel? Hey, when we're done talking about shit on Joel, you'll never believe what Joel said. Click down below, and 2 minutes into the video, I'll say what he did.
After my Loot Crate ad read.
Do you think there is value in approaching things like the way like Neil Blomkamp is now being like, oh look, I've got whatever fucking studios on YouTube. Yeah. Should that have been the approach maybe of some of the YouTube Red content? It's like, here's stuff you wouldn't normally have access to on YouTube, but like, cool, like I would pay a subscription service to watch like stuff that he doesn't have the financing to do in a cinema setting, right?
The total like missed opportunity is that they don't go to guys like Adi Shankar and Corridor Digital and dudes who and men and women who make really interesting like actual films, right?
Right.
Like that Power Rangers short has like fucking like what is it, like 60 million views or something? Yeah. Like they couldn't pay him to do something. They couldn't pay Corridor Digital or like Freddie Wong or like Netflix has to pay Rocket Jump to do something. Like where is YouTube in this?
Yeah.
Right. Like they have guys that can do the type of content that you might subscribe for, but I think the kind of stuff that you subscribe for, frankly, is usually tied to an IP.
It's
so this is the other problem. Yeah. Like in order to have a subscription service, you must also have a licensing department, right? Yeah. Like there's no way that like what's a good example?
Rooster Teeth doesn't have a licensing department though.
Rooster Teeth is a complete outlier. And we've talked about this a million times.
Yeah.
Skybound with Robert Kirkman is like a thing where they're like, well, it's Robert Kirkman, so like he must have like all this like good original IP. It kind of doesn't, like I don't think from like a content perspective, especially from a digital perspective. Just license a version of fucking Walking Dead, like we did years ago when we had that like what was that called?
Bite Me?
No, we had we
a little inside humor there.
We ran like several episodes of a digital series that was designed for digital, and it was shot with like a second AD like on set in between season 1 and season 2 of The Walking Dead.
It was literally licensed. I don't remember.
It was licensed original Walking Dead content on Machinima, and it was fucking rad as shit.
I have no memory of this.
Yeah, like we had Walking Dead, Battlestar Galactica. Like
Machinima was
I
good.
remember Battlestar Galactica, but I remember that being boring as hell. Yeah. I didn't like it at all.
Dude, I swear to God, there's like, I'll find it.
It was truly like oh, this should have been deleted content. It's like, no, watch it here. Watch the prologue shit. Battlestar, not Walking Dead. I don't remember this Walking Dead.
I don't know what
would have been into it.
I don't know what this. Like, I don't know what the solution is. Like, I'm not a finance guy, so I can't tell you how the numbers.
It's not rocket science. You look at it, you say everybody's like watching Five Nights at Freddy's bullshit. Let's license Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie with some of the best filmmakers on YouTube, with like real actors and stuff.
Yeah, but so a couple of influencers, just as like, but that would whatever in the background, something.
People might subscribe for that.
I don't agree because that would work on Amazon. Amazon would be super smart to do that, but the problem with YouTube is that the people that are creating on YouTube aren't going to give up their channel to only work for YouTube Red. And unless you can get exclusive content, I don't mean like a show you can only watch on YouTube.
Red. That's why I'm not saying you work with daily vloggers. You work with filmmakers.
And does Corridor Digital need to give up their channel to participate in this? I don't think so.
I guarantee you, Corridor Digital doesn't do their own VFX anymore. So it's not like they're giving up their channel to do it. They're just directing.
I think that if you want to involve creators in a subscription service, you have to have them exclusively on the behind a paywall, because otherwise I can get that stuff for free.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a solution to them having a subscription service.
If you tie them in with something else that's not normally on the platform. If you had Corridor Digital working with fucking...
I mean, it's possible that a subscription service really only works if you have something that people really want. People really want the music that's on Spotify. People really want the billions of dollars worth of content that's on Netflix.
Weirdly, I really wanted free shipping for my Amazon packages, and it just so happened that I got a subscription to a video service that now I use all the time.
Yeah. So what is
that bundle is great. Now,
what does
some
Google
people
have that people really want?
They have
enough to
Google.
subscribe?
They have Google Music, but I don't like Google Music isn't good enough.
It's like third tier.
Yeah, it is third tier, and being able to watch YouTube videos offline and download them is all well and good. That's great. Or being able to watch them with your phone closed, that's all well and good. But it's not enough to make me want to subscribe. In response to your second question as to how music services can algorithmically surface discoverable content pertinent to your tastes, Jeremy Azevedo.
Yes.
I'm not a coder, but my understanding here is I'm a ding dong. But my understanding here is that music is more easily scanned content than video for a variety of reasons. One, music. AI systems can understand chord progression. They can understand major and minor keys. Yeah, I mean, they can understand tonality. They can understand rhythms and beats. And that's all codable. What you can't code is the thing that this person just said comedy or is it drama? Is the thing that this person said quirky comedy and independent comedy, or is it like mainstream? Is it a soap opera that we're licensing? They don't like AI really doesn't understand that. So unless you have a human on one end, on the video side, inputting tags like really correct metadata and information that's hyper detailed, and then tagging that to each individual piece of video content, you're never going to get the kind of metadata that would be able to surface the discoverable content that you want in video form.
Counterpoint, how does Steam do it then?
Those are video games.
Okay, so a video game is
Yes.
more or less complicated than a TV show or movie.
I think
Because like when I go on Steam, it knows what games I've bought, what games I've actually played, how long I've played those games, and it makes recommendations based on that.
But
Does it not know like what movies and TV shows I've watched and for how long?
Call me
Does
crazy,
it not know that
Jeremy.
I got a little ways into The Leftovers and then unpopular opinion? I thought it was boring nonsense.
The Leftovers is one of the best shows.
The Leftovers
last
can eat a
5 years.
shit.
Which season did you watch?
The first season.
You should.
I got like 6
all you need to do
episodes
is
into
watch
it.
12 hours of this show,
Yeah.
and then it starts getting real good.
I'm so tired of people
it's
telling me,
always good,
hey,
but it takes
you got to just stick with it. I'm like, I watched
No,
it for 6
no,
hours.
I thought it was good
fuck's
for
sake.
the first episode. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it's a great fucking meditation on the fucking people coping with grief. But if the first season was a little too bleak for your liking, season 2 takes on a kind of a different quality that a lot of people really responded to, that then mixed together in the third season for one of the most satisfying emotional conclusions
I knew
of
that
any
was
television show I've seen since Breaking Bad.
My response to your question about Steam is that I honestly think that the video game coders, the people that own the video games, are probably more active in the Steam community than whatever low-lying, low-level employee of Warner Brothers is ingesting data into Netflix to like make that like to tag their their pre-existing license clips and movies and stuff. Like if I own and make a video game, it's in my interest to, in the same way that like our tags for a lot of our stuff at Machinima and SourceFed and Funhouse or whatever it was, like I cared so much about that stuff because I was creating that stuff. And so it was really important for me to like tag it correctly and make sure that it's surfaceable and searchable and discoverable. If I'm like a fucking $35,000 a year employee of Warner Brothers, I don't fucking care.
All right, then the solution is maybe the production companies need to provide their own tags.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
You think it would be accurate?
I think they would try to game the system the same way everyone else does. It'd be full of like exaggerations and bullshit.
So they're going to tag, Warner Brothers is going to tag Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman with Rocket and Groot and shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to think of a good analogy, and that covered it. Yeah, I don't know.
I want a third drink, but...
I'm not able to drive home with a third drink without breakfast.
It's a bit much.
What time is it?
It is currently 12:13.
How far into this are we?
We're 50 minutes. I feel like this is a
50 minutes?
I think we're at a good point.
Whoa! Time flies when you're having fun with the boys.
With the boys and I are having a good time. I don't know. Yeah, so let us know what you think in terms of, are you interested in video service, like video platforms being able to surface things that you wouldn't have known but are more interest to your taste? Or do you want to see what other people are watching? You want to see what's popular and like so that you're part of the conversation of what people are already talking about. Like because I think there is value in that too. Like I don't subscribe to use an example from last week, I don't subscribe to Jake Paul, obviously. But knowing that people are talking about it, maybe I'll watch a video or two so I'm conversant in it. So maybe from that aspect.
Joel, I think you already know the answer to your question. Obviously, the viewers and listeners of The Boys and I have more discerning tastes and would like to, I don't know, discover something a little bit more.
Willing to support niche voices. Maelstrom.
I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm just trying to find a good discussion topic for the sweet, sweet comic section.
Duly noted and fair.
And thank you for shutting me down. Just eat some of this chili powder.
Sorry, Joel.
It's
so next week we're all going to be gone. Oh no, we're going to do the live stream thing. We're going to try
We're going to be here. We're just not going to be here on the weekend.
Okay.
I'd be interested in knowing if you guys would like to hear more about subscription service or the ways in which algorithms are being used to actually develop content in addition to programming content, which I think is pretty interesting.
Basically, like I feel like our talk show is at kind of a crossroads right now, where we've experimented with talking a little bit more about the business side and a little bit more about the newsy not drama-y side. We don't really do YouTube drama, but we do newsy stuff, like top stuff. I'm a little bit more interested in like the overarching like business, like the continual efforts to try and make the platform a viable way to do business. But that's my...
I think we speak from maybe actual career authority on that front versus like when we're just shit-talking SJWs or something, you know what I mean?
I don't shit-talk. I support SJWs.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Do you, Snowflake?
I do.
Unconditionally, I support SJWs no matter what their agenda is.
Unconditionally support anything except for me getting a third michelada after this talk show is done.
Christ. Yeah, let us know. I mean, I think we're getting a sense for it. But,
we haven't even really kind of dove into a lot of personal stuff. Like, we have not at all talked about, like, marriage or, you know, dating or...
That guy I killed on the Jersey Turnpike 13
We didn't talk about that?
Talked about, just off camera, we keep talking about it.
Right.
And I'm always like, are we going to talk about it on camera? And we just blow it before...
Was it a guy or was it a chupacabra? Because accounts do vary.
Accounts do vary. The corpse was unrecoverable.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know.
So we'll be live streaming something. What day next week?
On Facebook.
Facebook.
I don't know. Maybe
Periscope or Facebook.
Let's do Periscope. Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Can you Periscope from the Boys and I Twitter account? You can't, right? That's how Periscope works.
Yeah. I can just link it up. Yeah.
Grandfather would like to know how Periscope works. Maybe we'll do that. Do you have an opinion, Jeremy? I don't know.
Jeremy's going to be in Kern on a tube.
I sure don't, just as long as it's before Friday. I'm going to go to the Kern. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm not going to engage with the internet at all.
Oh, wait, so do you want to do this on Thursday this week?
Maybe let's try to do it Thursday.
Yeah, maybe
why are we scheduling as part of the podcast?
It's funny.
You guys, this one time, like, I don't know how to describe the feeling of freedom of being on the Kern, floating down the river.
It must feel something like being in the desert, abandoning all of your modern connections, you know, living in a geodesic dome for 2 nights.
Oh, nice.
It must feel something like that.
Nice, dude.
No, it's not hippie bullshit at all. It's actually, it's just really like, so you're floating down the river, the water's cold, there's like a little breeze, the sun is shining. I was floating down the river with James Shaughnessy, and we had some other friends, but they were a little behind us. We got caught up in the current, and a fish jumped out of the water, like right in front of us. A big old, like, I don't know, salmon or something. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
And it leapt up again, and then, like a hawk comes and scoops it up right in front of us, like inches from our face, blood dripped on our inner tubes. That's what freedom looks like.
And then James's tube flipped over and he drowned in that river. So guys, be careful when you're out tubing.
Don't become a statistic.
You won't become a statistic. You will get closer to life and death than you've ever felt in your life. But you may become a casualty.
Yeah, it's actually true. So the week after next, your pal Jeremy could be gone. So if this is my eulogy, I'd like to say thanks for watching The Boys and I. Please leave a comment below so that my friends can continue maybe with somebody else. I don't know.
I would say you're irreplaceable, but
because
have lots of
editing.
people.
So if the boys can find another editor after I'm the 15th person to die in Kern, then, you know, please continue to watch. You know, it'll mean a lot to me.
You really will see them in hell.
Yeah, and I really will see you in hell.
Your sign off. I'm very literal.
I'm your pal Jeremy. You can find me at Danger Sharks.
I'm your pal Joel Rubin. You can find me at Joel Rubin _.
I'm Brett. forever clutching my face in Victorian horror at the void beneath our feet daily. You can find me at Hungry Hundar.
Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. See you in hell.